So some of the tools that I employ to help people who have a condition of anxiety is to evaluate if they have a history of trauma. Would be one of the early things that I would do. I would also make sure that there isn't an underlying medical condition that may be causing it. Any number of things could be happening in the brain that could be sending the wrong messengers to the adrenal glands again and then causing these anxious feelings. So once we eliminate that as the cause, then we look at a history of trauma. And I have a very effective tool known as EMDR, which can actually heal traumatic wounds from a lifetime of trauma. It could be that you've had one acute incident here or there, or it could be chronic. It could be small things, but that build up over time where it's lowered your self-esteem and prevented you from having normal, healthy relationships or achieving the most that you can achieve in your lifetime. And there's nothing worse than, coming to that place in your life where you're elderly and you have regrets about not having tried harder to reach some golden ring that you aspired to in your heart because maybe you were afraid. So anxiety can be very paralyzing. It can eliminate your ability to even go to a barbecue or go to a doctor for fear that the doctor's going to give you bad news. So anxiety can be very debilitating in that way. So we start with removing, if you will, the traumatic wounds that you've been carrying around. You may not even realize that it's there, but if somebody were to bring it up, you might have a little tearful moment, or it may make you sad. That's kind of an indicator that you haven't addressed some emotional incident in your life where you've been wounded and just buried it and just put it aside and thought, if I just get past it, buck up, soldier on, I'll do okay. But the facts are that you wind up making decisions around that wound to cover it up and pretend it's not there. That's part of the denial. So once we get rid of the wounding part of you, then trauma is no longer a reason, and we start to look at psychoeducation, which means cognitive behavioral therapy. How are you languaging your issues? Are you playing the what if game? Are you saying something like, I should do this or he should do that, which is a way of manipulating your reality to get more out of yourself, which triggers more anxious feelings. Again, because there's a cycle of anxiety that is triggered by stress. So you have a stressful event, say you get married or you get divorced or you move or you have a baby or you age and you start to develop a disease or some kind of illness. Those are very serious, stressful incidences, even though they can also provide a great deal of happiness. But the stress itself triggers anxiety. And then when you get anxious, you then cause more stress for yourself. And then when you cause more stress, guess what? Then you're causing more anxious feelings, and it becomes a cycle that repeats and repeats, and that cycle gets smaller and more active and happens more frequently, and to the point as you become a senior, then you're dealing with it on a daily basis without any real danger that you're facing and not the real reason you have that instinct for self-preservation to begin with. And so I liken it to be like a faucet that's always on. And so we need to retrain your adrenal glands to start to close down and just relax. So we have relaxation techniques, meditation, and practicing of mindfulness is another one that I do a lot of work with my clients around, because you need to be mindful about what is it that triggers my anxiety, mindful about managing my outbursts, or mindful about exercising so I have more endorphins and I'm more relaxed and I feel good. And when I feel good, I'm less likely to be reactive or in denial or avoidant, and so forth.